Hey Stevie. Alright, so first of all, thank you for your patience. Second of all, here is your spread. Now, again, I'm just going to look at the, let you know, the images and impressions, information coming through. Sorry, I can't speak today. And your job is to make connections where you can. So the thing is about this one is it's going to get a little weird because there's sometimes like non-human stuff comes through and things like that. And if it bothers your belief system, that's not a problem. I'm not saying it will, but like, just like go with the flow, and it's more about the message than, certain details, so to speak, okay? So again, we're going to go through where you were, what you do with the majority of your time, an important day with the relationships and feelings involved, another important day, relations and feelings, the death and lesson learned, and we're going to get hints of time throughout. So what we're looking at here, essentially, why I say it might be a little weird, is because we're looking at something that kind of plays with like the idea of time and I want to say like parallel universe kind of thing. Okay, so what came through was the idea of a water nymph. A water nymph, okay? And I have had other like non-human things come through. So this is not a mermaid. This is not one of those like silky things which has come through before. This is a water nymph, and the images that come to mind that I'd like for you to go and Google is this artist that I was fond of. So they're pulling up, that for me in order to give you kind of imagery and the feel and the vibe of this, which is John William Waterhouse. So go ahead and look up John William Waterhouse. He has paintings that it's an array of subjects, but it's romantic, and it's also, he does water nymphs. So what I want you to do is when you look at them, I want you to, excuse me, feel out the vibe, how you feel, if it triggers you emotionally, if it pulls you in a certain place in your body, like your heart center or your solar plexus, like your between your heart and your navel kind of thing, your stomach, but between that. Feel there's a pull there, and if not, that's fine, but there's something about that you need to look at to see if it vibes with you in some way, okay? So what we're getting as the idea of this is about unknown territory and going into risky situations that are unknown and foreign for the purpose of great outcome or great transformation, or where it's not about just self-transformation, it's about your energy transforming those around you. Okay, so basically what the story-ish kind of thing coming through, and we're going to start here because this is the Europe card, okay? So it's the kind of Europe you think of in Western Europe when you I want to say England or even like Ireland or Scotland, like that. So I guess the UK, those islands up there, we're going there because it feels like we're like by the ocean on a cloudy day, and there's a mood, and it's very like the wistful is the feeling, wistful, like when you think of a woman in the 1700s at the English rocks looking out to sea for the sailor that may never return, the lighthouse kind of imagery, that wistful, just looking out over the ocean. There's something about this vibe. So if you're connecting with this wistfulness, or it's almost like melancholy, or again, looking out the ocean, it's the great unknown. It's the not knowing what is coming, not knowing if you're going to see it again or see that person again, or, what do? Do you wait around, or do you let go and move on with your life, right? So there's this like that, there's that feeling coming through. So however you might connect with that in your life. And I feel like if you are connecting, there is a message in that to not dwell too much on that bittersweet feeling, because there's an addictive quality to it because it's romantic. And there's this message of part of the purpose of that feeling would be learning how to let go of it. It's the idea that what is meant to be will return to you. If it's meant to be, if it's someone and you're meant to be together, they'll come back. That kind of thing. So your focus on them not being there, or you're focused on the lack of their presence, or even, it doesn't have to be a person, it could be a situation, but your focus is so important right now. And it's so important that you don't focus on what is not there, what you don't have, the lack. You need to focus more so on what you do have. Start with the smallest thing. If you feel like nothing new is there, then just start with what you have in front of you. Like, this is so dumb. I'm so sorry if this is random. But like, let's say you have a favorite stuffed animal that you know you love and brings you comfort. Like, focus on that. Like, cuddle it. Or like, focus on the fact that it's been with you for so long and that you appreciate its presence there. I know that sounds random, I'm sorry, but like that kind of thing where it's so small and it seems insignificant or even silly, but if it gets your focus to focusing on what you have in front of you and what you already have, that is going to be a jumpstart for you to bringing in not only what you want, but what you don't know that you want that will improve your life and make it more joyful, okay? So it feels like this thing about, like a message of like how we can get stuck wanting something because we know it's there. Like, we're aware of its presence. And again, it's like they're just gonna give me this example because it's easiest, but it's almost like if you love someone and you're separated from them for whatever reason and you want them back or you want them, but it's like we linger on wanting that person just simply because we know that they're there and that they're available, or that they're actually like alive, like they're real. So we keep our focus on them, wanting them back, versus looking out yonder to the unknown and not even knowing if there is someone else out there, and just having to trust that there is someone else out there that's even better. You know, it's just that if we're focusing on what we know is real, but might not be best for us, but is kind of giving us comfort in that way, but yet we still don't have it, then the focus is taken and we're not able to open the focus and be available to welcoming new energy into our lives that would be so much better. More high vibe, more like suitable to your situation, and more aligned with who you are and your needs emotionally. So just please like play with those concepts and process that. And you know, if it resonates with you, great. If not, just tuck it in the back of your mind, you know, for a later date or whatever. But yeah, so other connections could be if you're pulled towards the UK, like the Scottish coasts, England, but more so the country. Just those like kind of romantic Irish by the sea kind of thing. That's that feeling. I think you know what I mean. So there's that. So that would be a connection. Now, this is what you do with the majority of your time, okay? So again, we are tapping into the nymph thing, and it's parallel with your human life. And I feel like, okay, again, bear with me. This sometimes it gets weird. So it feels like as you are living your life here, now, as you are, there's an aspect of your soul that is living parallel, because we have parallel lives, our aspects, you know, we have past, future, parallel, but they're all, you know, time's an illusion, right? So they're all kind of going on at once, right? So sometimes certain lives impact the one that we're focused on now, like the human one right now. Other lives can impact that more greatly than other aspects, if that makes sense. So this aspect feels like it's really impacting you because it feels like this is the aspect your human one now immediately came from, if that makes sense. Almost like there's a water nymph and it's you, and like living in that world, that dimension. And part of your purpose is to bring the knowledge of that dimension and that lifestyle, so to speak, into a 3D human like living, which is this world, this timeline as we know it, that you and I are both part of, kind of thing. And so we're looking at like the teacher card, right? So we say the teacher card. It's because you're supposed to be teaching based off the vast knowledge base and experience of the nymph aspect that feels like it's your primary aspect from this human timeline. I know it sounds so convoluted and I'm so sorry. But it's actually a really cool thing. It feels very cool. So it's not about like, this isn't it's not like oh, I was a water nymph, so I'm here to teach people how to swim. Like, it's not that. I'm trying to get it because this is actually like the world of the water nymphs. And okay, it's coming through. Hold on, there's Juju. Okay. So there's something about learning about being in the flow and becoming an expert of being in the flow, and then letting go of unnecessary obstacles, blocks, fears, releasing that, which we just talked about. Okay, so this has to do with what we just talked about putting your focus elsewhere, because when you're focusing on something like what we were talking about, then you can't be in the flow because your focus is taken. So your attention, you're not allowing your attention to flow with like the river of time, to flow with the current river, the river's current. Oh God, I'm sorry. Okay, so this is about, so if you find that you have a theme in your life where you've gone through lessons where you've had to learn to let go, or you're going through one now, it's a big one, because in learning to let go and moving along the river's course in a steady, natural fashion, allowing whatever to be, and letting go of the past in that way, or letting go of the need to know things, or the need to control things, and going with the flow moving forward, there are people watching you in your life, and they're learning from you that you might not even be aware of, and that you teach them by example. And I have goosebumps. Okay, so you're a teacher by your nature in the way you decide to make choices in your life and how you choose to flow and move forward. And if you're able, like, this might even be easy for you if you allow it to just click into place, because it's part of your nature. So there's something in you there's a switch that you can find if you haven't yet, where you're able to cold turkey it and switch your focus. You just need you need to find that switch and go, and then you can help other people do that. Even just by example, just doing it yourself will be helping other people. So that's some of the hardest things for like people who are healers or light workers. They want to be like proactive and conscious of what they're doing in helping people. But a lot of people are here just for their energy, like you. Like, you're here because of your energy. Oh, and other reasons, of course, too. Tons of other reasons, but a lot comes from this, at least what we're looking at here currently in your life. It's about your energy and your choices, and just trusting that you are helping so many people by choosing you. So by making your desires and your fulfillment and self-love and happiness your primary concern, and choosing you, you are being an example to many people that you're not even aware of, to help them learn how to prioritize themselves and choose them, so that they're no longer, I want to say, like, compromising their worth. Okay, I'm going to leave that right there. So just see how that resonates with you. All right. So let's go to this first day. Okay, so here we have the birth card, and I'm just trying to see what's happening, because there's something about these lives that are so parallel. So sometimes it's like nymph life, sometimes it seems like it's almost like your current life. And then here's soulmate and the horror card. So it feels again like there's something about abandonment, or like being separated. Let me just sit here for a sec and see what's coming through here. So this feels like the birth into your human state. Okay. So it's almost, okay, so when you chose to bring your focus here and now, your conscious focus to your human timeline right now, it was like a rebirthing of your soul in that sense, where, if you've heard of the veil, which I'm sure you have, the veil that like keeps us from remembering our, most powerful spiritual self, so to speak. You know what I mean? Like, you lift the veil, and that's when you can speak with spirit, stuff like that, right? So it's like, this day marks the choice of you choosing to enter like the human timeline that is blinded by the veil. But it's almost like, I want to say, when you were born in this life, if you could see ghosts when you were young, and you had like abilities when you were young, and or if there was an attraction to swimming or the water, feeling natural in the water, almost like if you used to play games where how long can you hold your breath, or you used to play games in the water where you would like go down into the like deep end of the pool and just like lay at the bottom as though like you were a mermaid or something, like so any water ability or games like that would speak to this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you did. But there is something about, this is the day of choosing, and it's your conscious focus leaving the nymph, focusing on the nymph life. And there's something very like painstaking about that. So if you've ever felt in your life, or if you do feel like there's a split and a non-belonging. So if you've ever been like, I'm not human, I'm not from here, you know, like, I don't belong here, like those kinds of thoughts. And like, yes, it's common, like a lot of us have it, well, probably because, you know, we're more than just human. But if those have been in your thoughts, it's because of the remembrance of the nymph life, because there's something about the nymph life that was very like graceful and like all-knowing, knowing who you were. Like, the nymph aspect of you is also being shown so that you understand that you can summon the feeling of really knowing who you are fully and not doubting yourself, or not focusing on your flaws, or not feeling like you're just a bunch of puzzle pieces that don't go together, if that makes sense. Or it's like, almost like at this time in your life, maybe you feel like you are starting to put the puzzle pieces of you together so that you are feeling more graceful in your life, if that makes sense. And by graceful, I mean like flowing, like things flowing, feeling more like assured in your step, knowing yourself better. That's what it is. It's like a knowing of yourself. So in the nymph life, it felt like there's an all-knowing of who you are and your purpose and what you're there for and your place, your role, all that stuff, right? And then here you come into human world, and it's like all those pieces, like someone breaks the puzzle up and messes all the pieces up, and now you're like putting them together. So if any of this resonates with you, this is just what's coming through, so just bear with me. But it feels like right now is the time when pieces are coming together, and the best way to keep them, to bring them together and also like make them cohesive, is what we were talking about up here, about learning to where to place your focus and letting go of what you need to let go of, and trusting that what's coming is greater than you expect or even can imagine, and just like cultivating that trust, because that trust comes very naturally in the nymph world, because it's part of the nature of it. Like, you're so in tune with the universal energies that the trust is like not even a question, it's not even a concept whether you trust or not, because it's just there. So like, learning to trust is like almost like a new foreign human concept, solely human, if that makes sense. So if you have come across themes of trust in your life, or you're going through one right now, such as like trusting even just the flow of things, and that good things will come, and to let go of what is, you know, that focus of lack or whatever it is, if you tap into that trust, and it's almost like a feeling of like, when you know, when you hit it, you don't lose it. So just be aware of that, and just know that if you haven't quite hit it yet, you'll know when you hit it, because you'll feel it. Like, it will be unmistakable. Like, oh, okay, this is the feeling I can always come back to when I need to refocus and go in the flow and move forward. And this is also manifestation. This is about manifesting abundance and things coming to you that are of a higher vibration. It's that feeling you're gonna get. You're like, there's that feeling again. Oh, okay, I can return to this, right? And sometimes it's not even just about finding the feeling again, it's about recognizing when you're out of that feeling. And sometimes just recognizing when you're out of the feeling of the flow and the trust can put you right back in, because you'll be like, oh no, I'm doing that thing again. I'm focusing on the past. I'm focusing on the lack. Oh, I'm doing that again. Let's go back, right? So just pay attention to that, okay? And then on this day, we are looking at trauma, spouse, and the confident card. Okay, so we're looking at a relationship here that, if more than anything, if this has to do with what we were talking about someone leaving or a separation or something happening in your life, maybe it's an ex-husband or an ex-lover or partner or whatever it might be, or someone you're seeing now that you feel like you need to part ways with, this is all part of your purpose to learn refocus and self-prioritization. That's all this is. When you learn to fill your own love bucket up and prioritize yourself, your needs, and your desires over your partners, really it's over anyone, but over your partners, because we're looking at the spouse card, we're looking at like a partner of some kind. When you learn to do that, you're going to step into your full power and confidence, and that is where you need to be. And the tricky part, it's going to be a little trickster energy here, is that it might be thrown in your face that it's selfish. It might be thrown in your face that that's not who you are. It's like if someone's in your life that is taunting you with knowledge about yourself and twisting it around, that's your cue. That's your cue. If someone is in your life, and it could be now or it could be in the future, and it could be many people, but like right now, like we're talking about right now, really, if someone's in your life that is using your nature against you, that is your cue to let them go and cut them out. That's your cue. It could be family, it could be a husband or a partner, it could be anyone. If they are throwing your own nature in your face in a twisted way, such as, you have such a big heart, why can't you blah blah blah. This isn't who you are. You're a nice person. You should blah, blah, blah. You see what I mean? And then so you might think, wait, I do have a big heart. I am a nice person. No, I do want to take care of you. I do love you. Of course I'll do this. If that strikes any chord in you, that kind of tone, those kinds of, that kind of manipulation, that is your cue that whoever is doing that to you, mentally thank them for the lesson and for their role that they're playing in order to bring this to your attention, and move on. And it really can be as simple as that, because it honestly is a feeling of like there's gratitude for the role they're playing to bring it to your attention, but it actually should infuriate you. I know it sounds weird, but allow yourself to feel the anger or furiousness of someone throwing something in your face that has to do with your good nature in order to manipulate you to give time, energy, or whatever to them. Okay? That's your cue. And if this doesn't resonate with you now, tuck it in the back of your mind, because when this occurs, this is your chance to level up in a huge, huge way. And it might not be easy. It might be easy, but it might not. But this is where you can level up in a huge way. High vibration, also bringing in immense abundance and moving forward swiftly and smoothly. So it's really your choice. It's your choice. So keep that in mind. Oh God. All right. So the death card. So here's the death card, and it's the accident card. And all this is speaks to the transition from nymph to human, how it feels that being human feels like a mistake. It's like the nymph aspect of you feels that being human is a mistake. That's it. Because the idea of death needs to be transmuted, because think of it like this, like the depth of the nymph aspect meant the birth of the human aspect. And when you're done with the human aspect, you're going to return back to the nymph aspect. So there's no death. It's just experiences of different alternate realities and focus. So if you have any fear of death, No reason, no need. Because you have somewhere to go back to. It's going to be like laying down and waking back up in your original reality, if that makes sense. Okay? So just connect with that however you can. But this doesn't imply like, oh, death by, you know, an accident, so to speak. Now this card is dream big because you're here to live to your fullest. You're here to actualize your dreams, to realize and actualize your dreams. And in order to do that, you need to clear the path. And you clear the path, again, by the things we went over as far as where to place your focus and who to cut out of your life that may be toxic to you. And if you keep going with the flow of that and learning how to return to the trust and the flow whenever you realize you're out of that, you're going to be able to actualize every dream that you have. You just have to believe in it. Like you have to trust that if you have a dream, it's not a mistake. It's because you can make it happen. You just have to let go of the how am I going to make it happen? How am I going to get there? And place that trust in the universe, go with the flow. And again, remove yourself from toxic situations or people. And it's really about this formula we went over here. So none of your dreams are silly. None of your dreams are not possible. And it's almost like any dreams you've tucked away because you thought, there's no way I can. Don't do that anymore. Like, give yourself permission, okay? All right. Whew. Okay, so hopefully that was interesting. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you're able to make some connections and that's helpful in some way. And again, thank you for your patience and thanks for letting me read you.